So, Miss Lindsay, like I'm sure you've watched and supported Kaloy all the way in this Olympics, and it's just so good to finally see him compete in the men's vault final. So, what did you think about it? What were your initial reactions?
Syempre, like everyone, you always hope for a medal, right? But I was really super happy with his finish. Yeah, because we placed fourth and it wasn't, uh, it was a really, really close final. Like the difference between the top three, actually nag-tie pa nga yung gold and silver. They tied, but there's a tiebreaker process kasi in gymnastics. So score-wise is actually the third, right? So I think that's such a major, major accomplishment, especially for like a small country like us, that we don't have as much funding as this bigger gymnastics program. So I think that's really like, it's mind-blowing actually na nag-finals tayo tapos fourth pa.
Yeah, and also it is Kaloy's first time to see
Yes.
action in the Olympics.
And he's the youngest. I mean, in that vault final, he's the youngest. So he has like more room to grow. Like I think, if I'm not mistaken, one of the Russian men, I think it's his third or his fourth Olympic. So it's his first. He's super young. So yeah, it's really great news. Many of the younger gymnasts are usually just there for the experience muna, and then I'll train a few more years and maybe I'll be a finalist. But for him to qualify to an event final in his first year at such a young age is it's just encouraging for the Philippines, hopefully.
Yes. And in his second attempt, he scored really high. It was a
Yes.
14.866.
866, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So how, like from a gymnast perspective, like how difficult, like how would you evaluate that? Because I'm sure it was very difficult, like the execution and everything.
Right. So like this, kasi the score of his second vault, kasi ganito, um, the score of a score is taken from two: the difficulty value of the whatever you did plus the execution, meaning how clean it was, how many mistakes you made, where your legs bent, ganyan. So Kaloy actually had the highest execution score, tied with another guy, one of the guys from Turkey. So they had the highest execution, meaning the cleanliness or the form of the vault among all the finalists. Yeah, but again, these are all kasi point one difference lang. But so getting a score like that, and if I computed it based also on his difficulty value, it means na the deductions given to him for that specific vault, second vault, was just like point 0.7, point 0.8. Kasi average din yan of the judges' scores. Eh. So kaya may 0.66 ganyan. So the judges gave him like a point 0.7 point, and that's super small. In gymnastics, dami-dami mo pwede i-deduct, diba? So to get a point 0.7, point 0.8 deduction for execution is really like, that's world class.
And the fact that he actually had this big smile and Coach
Yeah, I
Nina
was
also
so
looked very
happy.
proud.
I mean, I was so happy that I saw that smile at the end of the Olympic Games because I saw his face. I mean, we all saw his face after floor final. And you wouldn't want, I mean, after floor qualification, and you wouldn't want to end an Olympics like that. I mean, So for me to see that genuine smile that he knew, I know he knew he did a good job. That was a good end. So it would hopefully be a good start for the next process.
Yeah, that's really a pat on the back for himself
Mm-hmm.
because we couldn't be there. We couldn't be there physically to cheer him on, but then at least he knows in his heart that he actually executed his best and it was very successful. You know, Miss Lindsay, actually the last time we saw Kaloy and actually cheered for him physically was during the 2019 SEA Games where he
Mm-hmm.
won two gold and five silver medals. So, and then in the whole 2020 naman, parang nagpandemya eh. So, we didn't really see a lot of Kaloy. So, how would you like evaluate his improvement naman like from 2019 then now 2021?
Well, in terms of improvement, I also cannot say much because, like you, he's been in Japan all this time, so we haven't really seen him. Although, what's lucky, I mean, really lucky about his being in Japan is, um, he's allowed to compete in the Japan tournament. So in that sense, and obviously the Japanese landed silver in men's team, right? And a lot of the Japanese men got medals in the individual events, and the individual all-around champion is Japanese. So the good thing about that is, even during the pandemic, he was testing himself and he was competing against the best in the world. So, but there were ang hirap eh. Like sometimes I try to Google, pero since it's Japanese, I cannot find footage of the Japanese competitions he's joined. Or sometimes Coach Mune might send in a video or a clip. So in terms of improvement, I cannot really say because my own, like you, I've only seen some clips and I didn't see it in relation to other people. But yeah, but I think also just being able to sustain yourself during the pandemic and not downgrading stuff is also a good thing, to have your head straight pa rin. So yun.
Yeah. And what was he doing in Tokyo naman the whole 2020? Would you know his situation there?
No, I'm sure they just really trained and trained and trained. And early on in the pandemic, actually, I was chatting with him. Sabi ko, Oy, ano ba? Sarado mga gym dyan? Nakaka-train ka ba? This was like, siguro later to 2020, I was asking him. Sabi niya, oh, bukas yung mga gym dito. So they were able. So I think, and they were, early on, I would see videos of him na nag-workout na sila sa bahay, ganon. Pero much later on, medyo super lockdown pa sa ibang parts of the world, parang na-open na naman yung mga gyms nila, tapos yung nakaka-train naman siya. So I think the training naman never really, parang hindi naman siya super nahinto. Plus, he was lucky nga to be able to join some of the Japanese competitions. So yeah, I think it was just still continuing throughout the pandemic, or yeah, throughout 2020.
Yeah, and seeing how well he did in the Tokyo Olympics, like I'm
Mm-mm.
sure like he really trained well for it. Like it seemed like something that was very
Mm-mm.
consistent and something that he never stopped doing, especially
Mm-mm.
being away from the Philippines like the whole time also. And then so Miss Lindsay, like what can we you said that it was very encouraging like seeing how well he performed in his first ever Olympics. So what is actually next for Kaloy and what can we expect from him?
Well, again, this is all, of course, it's all Kaloy's decisions and whatever, right? And also the planning of Coach Mune. I know there's a World Championships again this year, actually, also in Japan, sometime towards the fourth quarter of the year. Uh, I'm assuming, I don't know, I really don't know honestly, but I'm assuming that they will be joining that again. Syempre, forward target is still Paris, pero like I was telling people, we always hope to continue on, but you never really, kasi it's still another qualification process. It doesn't mean na, oh, nag-Tokyo ka, okay, game. O, sige, guys, sali ulit tayo. Para I mean, we will still have to work hard and hopefully qualify other gymnasts, no? Sana next time may kasama na siya, hindi siya lang mag-isa. Ganon. So, but again, it's another hill we need to slowly climb. It's not, you don't get a free pass. Now, once you're an Olympian, you can join the next Olympics. Hindi ganun yon. So, I guess working hard. Hopefully, he gets to rest muna. Sana may rest bago World Championships. I mean, he deserves it. I don't know if my plans of coming back to the Philippines because of our own situation, our own quarantine situation. I don't really know. Honestly, I don't really know. But um, yun. We have, so we Coach Mune has good targets and plans always for Kaloy. Yeah.